Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining our Reading League California chapter meeting. Let me put us into slideshow mode. I'm Kristen Kohler. I am the Director of Membership here at the Reading League California, and I'm so excited for tonight's topic. We are hosting folks from the Reading Universe, and they're going to help us understand what Reading Universe is and why you care about it, using it. Our mission is to promote the use and awareness of evidence-aligned literacy instructional practices and curriculum in California based on reading science. If you're not already a member, you can join tonight. We have several levels of membership, and I'll drop the link in at the end. We are all volunteer nonprofit organization. We're run by educators, administrators, and passionate literacy experts from all over the state. Donations and membership dues help us run the high quality content like what you're receiving tonight and other things throughout the state. We'll send all the resources from tonight's event to all the registrants. That includes the recording and the links and any other important documents. So here's a quick agenda. We're going to talk with the fine folks from Reading Universe for about 35 to 40 minutes. We're going to do a giveaway, and then we will have our standard breakout rooms during chapter meetings where you get a chance to talk to people who might be close to where you live and work, and we're going to have a couple of prompts for you guys to talk about. I am so excited to have Carla and Sarah here. They are from Reading Universe. I did not know the connection between some of these organizations, and so I want to point that out to you. Do we say WIDA? Yes? Okay.
Yes, we
So
do.
the sister sites are Reading Rockets, Color in Colorado, and LD Online, all of which I have used before and are fantastic resources. So if you've ever been to one of those sites, you're visiting a sister site of Reading Universe, which was launched in 2023. Let me back up here a little bit because I want to introduce Carla, who is the Director of Instructional Design at Reading Universe, and Sarah, who is the Senior Instructional Designer and Writer. They are going to present for us, and then we're going to answer some questions, and then they have brought some things to give away. So I am super excited that they're here. Carla and Sarah, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. Carla, do you want to introduce yourself quickly before while I'm getting the screen pulled up?
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. I'm exciting. This is one of the presentations I get to do in the state that I live in. I do have a Southern accent. I'm a transplant to California, but I do love it here. And we do normally have nice weather. And I come to this work being an educator for over 30 years. And I was one of those teachers that did not actually know how to teach a child to read. And when I finally learned, it was life changing. And so I'm so grateful to be a part of this team to bring the what to teach, the why to teach, and the how to teach, which is like the most important part. So we can do the work in our classrooms to educators for free. So we're so excited that you're here with us. Sarah, you can take it away.
Great. Thanks, Carla. And I'm Sarah Martin, and I'm so excited to be here with you as well. I'm joining from Missouri tonight. But as Carla said, the biggest thing I want you to remember about Reading Universe tonight is that everything that you'll find is free. And so it is such a wealth of resources and knowledge for you. As Kristen mentioned, we do have some giveaways that we'll be doing at the end. One thing that we will be giving away are our flashcard sets, which you can download these for free on our site and be able to print them out. But these ones are just kind of like the ones you might buy. We have the letters, we have the ones where's my ones? With our keyword pictures. So we will be sending out some sets of those. So make sure you stick around to be eligible to win that. So as we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about where Reading Universe came from. Many of you are probably familiar with the story of Mississippi and the Mississippi Marathon. And that is actually where Reading Universe was born. The Barksdale Reading Institute, where Kelly Butler was the head of that, she was working with educators in the classroom, boots on the ground, and she wanted teachers to be able to see within this universe of reading where is the skill that I'm working on today? And not thinking about it as siloed skills, but where does everything fit together? So as we look at this, this is our homepage here, but honestly, what I have bookmarked up here is our taxonomy. And we have a little link over here to the taxonomy. And that is where the power really begins. I also want to tell you, we do have a page for you that we will be giving to you at the end that has all of these links. So do not worry, we will take you through all the steps with the links. You'll have a resource to take with you at the end. So don't feel like you need to click around. We really just want you to be able to enjoy this tour. So here is our reading universe taxonomy. And this is how we organize all of the skills. And you'll probably be very familiar with the organization because we have it all based around the simple view of reading. So we have our word recognition over here, our language comprehension, and then our reading comprehension. So this all can be unfolded. And what I'll do is I'll expand it to show you all of the different things that we have. Some things we are still building. We are very active in the building process. We are literally publishing new videos and new content daily. So if you see something as coming soon today, it might be there tomorrow, it might be there next month, but we are constantly adding. So make sure to come back and check out what we are adding. But what is really exciting is we started in the word recognition. And that's where we really started building out. And we are very, very close. I think maybe tomorrow or Monday, we will have all of our word recognition pieces done. The only thing we haven't published yet is our vowel teams, which is so close. But what you can do here is if you press the plus sign, it's going to unfold all of the skills in here. And we have what we call skill explainers. And what these skill explainers are going to do is it's going to give you the what and the why of how to teach this skill and the how. So we're really going to walk you through all of these things. And what I love about this is that as a teacher, you've probably gone through some trainings for your core curriculum, if you're lucky enough to have a core curriculum that's evidence-based. And maybe you had that training at the beginning of the year, but it's February now, almost March in a few weeks. And you're like, I don't remember what they told me about soft C and soft G. I need to refresh my teacher knowledge. And that's where these skill explainers come in, along with the application in the classroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with consonant digraphs. And I am going to navigate through this as Carla walks you through all of the components here.
Okay, so this is an example skill explainer, and this is how Reading Universe unfolds content. It's the what to teach, the why to teach, and the how to teach. And in the skill explainer, if you look on the left-hand side, the orange boxes, that is how you can navigate the modules. The modules aren't gated. You can move in and out of them based on what you need. So you can pop in and grab a resource. You can go to the overview. They're not, you don't have to move through them like a course. So if we look at the first one, the overview of consonant digraphs, this is where I would really think about the what to teach. This is like, what is the content I need to know for my students? So for consonant digraphs, it gets very specific. At Reading Universe, we use a very teacher-friendly correspondence where we write like we're talking to you. And if there's any language that we think may be new, because I remember when I didn't know the word phoneme, and that is fine. And every time I read the word phoneme, I had to look it up until I finally had it in my working memory where I could call it up. And so if there are vocabulary in here that are specific to the skill explainer, we have it underlined. You can click on it. It opens up and we have a glossary. So all along the way, this is Reading Universe is really about teacher knowledge. We are curriculum agnostic, and we are all about, as you are in your classroom driving the bus for your children, that you are gaining the knowledge to make the everyday decisions. So if you look here, we define, a digraph is two consonants coming together, making one sound. We give sound letter cards to show when you're teaching kids, you're going to show CH, and then you're going to give them a keyword picture. As we look through, we talk about each consonant digraph, and we have an articulation card that lets you learn the sound that it makes. It gives you the features or the landmarks related to that sound, like where does that happen in the mouth? What are your teeth and tongue doing? Are your vocal cords vibrating? You might call it loud or soft, or voiced or unvoiced. We give you all that information because that's important information for you to be able to give to your students. Many students aren't able to say, watch your mouth and make the exact sound, mimic it. They need more landmarks. So this is all about your knowledge. So hopefully this is going to work. This is Morgan. She's an SLP from Connecticut, and we have these for all of the digraphs here.
As in thumb.
So she makes the sound. She lets you see what her mouth looks like. And then if we click on the letter sound, the next one, it just gives the sound. So you have an example with keyword picture and sound, and one with just sound. And if you look over on the right, we give you all those features. It's a tongue biter. You know, my tongue is coming out. I like to say this is the only time you can stick your tongue out at your teacher, when you're making the TH sound. It's voiceless or unvoiced. It's continuous, right? And we give you the keyword picture and the keyword thumb. And under, we also have the voice sound. This is one of those, when I was learning, I was like, oh, wait, there's 2 sounds for TH. So here we have Morgan again, giving the next sound.
As in the middle sound in feather.
So if you make the sound like in feather, your tongue is out, your voice box is on. And it's really important that we as teachers have access to this knowledge. The information on the right is information that we as teachers can jot on the back of our cards, our deck drill that we might have, and we have those cards for you that you can print just to give yourself like a little cheat sheet. It's a tongue biter, it's voice, it's a continuous sound. Here's a keyword picture, feather. I like to write a lot of words like feather, mother, father, would that have that voice sound. So all the content in the overview is just about teacher knowledge. So you can go through and you can review or teach yourself anything that you need. Here is a key sticking point for digraphs. This may be the first time that your students have had the opportunity to hear a sound like shh, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, 1 sound, 2 letters. This is a big teaching point here for digraphs that students were having to work on. So we have that information. And then we always have a video in the overview to give you, we call them quick looks, a quick look at what the skill can look like in a classroom. So we're going to watch, hopefully, Katina Johnson from Toledo, Ohio, teaching a little bit of digraph TH.
All right, friends, so you know we have been working with digraphs, right? And we know that digraphs are...
2 letters that make 1 sound.
Yes, we've been working with digraphs, 2 letters that make 1 sound. So we've had CH, what was that sound? We've had SH, what was that sound? And now we're going to have a new digraph today. Are you ready? Yes. Here is our digraph. It is TH. We look at the digraph itself, that is 2 letters that make
1 sound.
And then we look to see how the sound is made. Okay, so we're going to practice that. Are you ready?
Okay, we call these our quick looks, and we have the full video that you can watch Katina teaching later on in the skill explainer. But it's just like if you're using this to review before you get ready to teach your children, or if you're using this in a PLC for your coaches, this is a nice way for them to really think about what is the information that I need to have ready to go to teach my kids. And then inside of our skill explainers, we always address students that may need extra support. And here we talk about the importance of articulation instruction and how it's culturally responsive, especially in this case for students who speak African American English. The TH is variable. It can have multiple ways of being pronounced in African American English. So explicit instruction is necessary where we say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to spell this sound, like in the word with, and we give direct explicit instruction in how we can make the sound. So all of that is listed here. There's a link to Dr. Julie Washington talking about how to do this work. In fact, she's out of California, just like we are. And then we like to go and talk about, hey, you're teaching digraphs. Kids don't need to memorize all these words. Once you have taught them these digraphs, these words that fall on the high frequency word list can be words that they can decode. There's no need to memorize. And then we go into more intricate teacher knowledge related to digraphs listed there in case you're teaching the older kids or you need to get into the weeds on some things. And now we're going to move to the when to teach. So if on the left-hand side, you see that the modules and how they unfold, we have this for every phonics skill across the continuum. And this is our phonics continuum. I want to remind you again, we are not a curriculum. We are curriculum agnostic. We are about teacher knowledge. But even when we are learning as teachers, we learn things in a scope and sequence. And our scope and sequence builds. It starts from the simplest content and it builds to the more complex. So we're showing here, we're highlighting consonant digraphs, and we're saying, if you're learning that here for us, that means that we have already taught you, right? Or the skill explainers that would have come before are, 1 through 6. So any words that we put in front of students for the reading and the dictation parts of the lessons will scoop these skills up. C versus K, closed, open, glued sounds. So that's something we always want to point out, and also want to say, when we have bought into structured literacy and we know that that's research-based, it's about being systematic. And so regardless of what your curriculum is, you have a scope and sequence that you are moving through so that your teaching is systematic. So we're going to move to the how to teach. And in the how to teach here, we're also leaning into what the research says about structured literacy. We know that our instruction needs to be systematic, it needs to be prescriptive, diagnostic, and it needs to be cumulative. And also we know that our lesson builds. It builds from the sound level all the way down to the more complex content every time we're teaching. So following a lesson plan, structure, a routine, is really important as it helps students build their knowledge. And it also gives a structure. So every time that I'm planning, then I know exactly what the plan is going to look like. It doesn't change. I may leave something out and spend more time in something else, but I know the components of the lesson, and each component of the lesson has a job. It also works reciprocally for students, right? If they know how this is how we do phonics, right? Don't you love to go to a place and you know how to do the thing and you don't feel overwhelmed by not knowing? If students know how you do phonics every day, then all their cognitive energy can be used on the job at hand. And the job at hand today for this would be, learning a new consonant digraph, not figuring out what new thing is she going to put in front of me today. So we follow a very regimented, structured phonics checklist in all of our lesson plans. So in the prepare to teach, this is important in the fact that we know that when we're introducing content to students, there are, we just looked at it, SH, CH, TH, 2 sounds for TH, WH, right? We could do PH also. And we're not going to introduce those all at once. So decisions are to be made, right? Have you assessed your students? Where are you going to enter? What grade are you teaching? One digraph at the time. All of those are decisions that you're making as you drive the bus in your classroom. So then when we get to, you can consider how you're going to introduce, and this is Antonio Ferrero doing Build a Word. We're not going to watch this video right now, but you could come back and watch him. He's lovely. And in here in this part, we also have, this is one of my favorite things. I'm probably going to say that a lot, but this is really one of my favorite things. This is the word list. And opening the word list, printing the word list, and looking over the words before you teach your phonics lesson can really help as you move across the week. And if you think about introducing a new concept on Monday, and I have a 5-day phonics kind of structure. Tuesday, Wednesday is heavy, review because I introduced it, scooping up other materials, cumulative content, and then Thursday, if I've done some really smart word selection, Thursday can be heavy vocab language work because I've chosen words that have multiple meanings that can be used in different ways in sentences. So one of my favorite things to do when I'm working with teachers is to print these word lists out. It has the words, phrases, sentences. No thinking is required as far as I used to have to go on my shelf and pull 10 books to come up with all the words I was going to call for the week. That has already been done for you. Now you can use your cognitive energy on choosing the best words for your students. So we're going to go back out and we're going to go to the explicitly teach. And in we got to show the decks. These are the beautiful decks. They're free. You can print them. We have the small version. We have the big version. We also have the decks with no pictures, which are also important because we could have a whole nother session on like the parts of the phonics lesson, right? But the goal of the deck is to build automaticity, accuracy first, and then we need to get quick about it, but we pull this together to be automatic. So if we want to be automatic enough in order to be able to read, SH immediately when we see it and be able to go, shh, then we need to take away the keyword picture card and substitute in a card that just has SH no picture. And so we have those versions for you here. So you have everything you need. And then if you move to the explicitly teach, we have exactly what you could say. That way, if you are teaching this for the first time, there's no guessing. And we really have the explicit nature of it here. And that is like the secret sauce in structured literacy is that it's explicit. It is saying, today I'm going to teach you the sound. The sound is ch. CH says ch, like you tell them the thing. So we have all the language here where you can practice. We go through word chaining, give you the word chaining words that you can build and read with your students. Of course, the cards were there that you could use. And so that you don't have to do that cognitive like work. This is the explicitly teach part of your lesson. And we pull it out here. And so that teachers have, a chance to look at the language. But then if we can we look at the lesson plans? If we look at the lesson plans, then it doesn't matter to me, Sarah, which one you choose. If we look at the lesson plan, they're always set up the same. They're set up the same for schwa as they are set up for digraphs, as they are set up for, soft C and soft G. And the goal is that you know what to expect and kids know what to expect. Listening game, deck, explicitly teach and review. And then we have sound dictation, word dictation, phrase and sentence dictation, knowing you probably won't get through all of that, in every lesson, but knowing that you are driving the bus and you can pick and choose in this lesson plan may serve you for 2 or 3 days, and that you have examples of everything you would need here. So we have lesson plans for all the digraphs, and then we have a lesson plan for the mixed version, like teaching multiple at once. So we have that. And then let's look at the Elkonin boxes. Are they here, Sarah? Okay, this is one of my favorite things. I used this a ton during COVID and we made them and I was so happy. So this is really hard for kids to hear. And so giving them the picture, you're building their vocabulary, you're connecting, they know what a moth is or they know what teeth are, right? But you're really connecting that I'm going to say the word is moth, repeat moth, and then we're going to push the sound and then you really get to over enunciate. So do they that sound, which is really important because when we come to spelling, you're like, wait, one sound, TH, right? 2 letters, one sound. So these Elkonin boxes are really nice and they really come in handy when kids, for English language learners, because you're connecting what they know. They really do know language. They know about teeth, right? And so all of a sudden you're letting the picture help go, oh, we have this in common. We know this. You might have a different word for it. Say that word, but I'm going to show you this picture. I'm going to tell you the word, and then we're going to push the sound. So we have the L boxes to help. You can pull those up on the board, which is great. Also.
And I also want to just add that the answer key is right here because as a former kindergarten teacher, there was always that picture that the kids come up to you and say, "What is this a picture of?" And you're like, "I think it's a ham." So here we have the answers for you so you can.
Kindergartners might not know what a ham is, and I don't know why we always have that picture.
I know.
Exactly. So other student activities we have rule and reads, but our favorite thing besides the word list I already showed you is going to be the read sheets. And the read sheets really give students an opportunity to practice. So you may have your high quality instructional materials that you're using, but you're driving the bus and your students need more practice. And so these are already vetted for you, put together. And for this one, for example, it's you would say CH chair, ch, and then they could write CH ch, CH ch, CH ch. They could read it back, ch, ch, ch. You've had them write, you've had them listen, you've had them read back, and then you go to the words. And for the words, you can have them trace the CH, you can have them highlight the CH, then they tap, grab the word. If they're ready to grab the word, just read it, and then you talk meaning. And this can be used multiple days and multiple ways. You could have it on the board, and everyone could have one on their on a little clipboard, and they're working together. You're reading together. You could do it in a small group. Once you've done that work together, you could give everyone a copy that they put, we used to put ours in the little protective sleeve, put them inside of a phonics notebook. And then every time we have a read sheet, they get to add a page. So then all year long, they're building this notebook of content that they can read. They can read it with a partner, or they can take it home for homework and reread it with their family. So these make really excellent practice sheets. And they're already made. And I just want to say I used to spend hours and hours and hours making these myself, and now they're here for you. I want to, Sarah's going to click on one that's a little more advanced. And so you can just see how, more words, phrases, sentences, and we have these across all skill explainers. So this is just, we're going through diagraphs now to show you, and you just know that you can find this in all the skill explainers. So now we're going to go to, we have decodables, a lot of decodables. Here is the posh ship, the words up top that you can talk to them about meaning and read with them. And then this is the teacher version, and you can do a fluency check-in here. Vocabulary to talk about and questions at the end. And this is the student version. Same thing with this. You could read this aloud together, fluency kind of routines on the whiteboard, projected big. You could do it in a small group. You can use partner reading. You can send home for homework. You could do reader's theater. Like many, many, many readings of this could happen. We know that intentional practice to integrate the skills is how kids really become fluent. So then the assessment is just a really quick check-in. If you think about your week, and I'm just going to use that 5-day, Monday through Friday. Monday, I introduced. Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm getting really good practicing. Thursday, maybe I'm really throwing in some language vocabulary to make sure I'm like building those language comprehension skills. Then Friday can be my check-in day. My dictation is really tight and quick. I don't check together. Everyone knows Friday is, I call the words, you write them down, I take up your paper, you go and do some roll and reads or read with a partner, and I call everyone over individually and I read with you quickly. We have the student sheet, and we have the teacher recording form. So this is just a really quick way. Then what happens on Friday, I look over your papers, I take quick notes, then I know how to adjust for Monday. Do I move on to another diagraph? Do I scoop up ones that have TH at the end because I realized there was a lot of misunderstanding there? So I'm letting really this formative assessment like take over for what needs to happen on Monday of the next week. So then we are going to look, so in this skill explainer for students who need additional support, we embedded that higher. because it's really pertinent to teaching, TH. Um, in our other skill explainers, we have content from Elsa Cardenas Hagen related to English language learners. Sarah is working very closely with Landmark, who's a school for children who are dyslexic, and we are building out for children with dyslexia. And so we are and working with Tiffany Hogan on the DLD content. So hopefully you'll keep checking back, and this will be more robust as we move along with this content. And then the last piece is just all the resources. If you're like, hey, I already know how to teach all this, I just want to grab up some of the stuff, you just come here to the bottom. You can look at the videos that we have, and you can just grab the content that you need. So this is just we just chose consonant digraphs to give you a deep dive so you can understand how all of the phonics skill explainers are laid out, and that all this content exists for each individual skill that we have listed under the phonics skill explainer. Sarah, I don't think we have time to do consonantally.
No, I think we can go right to grammar.
Okay, so one thing I do want to say that some of the more advanced skill explainers have, like Consonantelli, we have this one little piece called Scoop It Up, where we're like, hey, you're getting further along into the scope and sequence. This is cumulative. Like structured literacy is not one and done, right? Structured literacy is about, I'm teaching you this, but I'm always scooping up everything we've done before. I'm calling words that have that. So I just want you to know that as you go further in the skill explainers, this cumulative piece is listed out so that you're really thinking through what you might need to review, how you might divide up your practice, your dictation, or your reading of words. So now we're going to go back to our taxonomy, our lovely simple view of reading. And now we want to talk about language comprehension. We've been living heavily in word recognition because that's the way we built it out. And we also know that word recognition is constrained skills. These are skills that can be taught. Once students master them, they don't need to be taught again. Usually you can then practice integrating them into new content. However, on our language comprehension side, those are mainly unconstrained skills. And they're not one and done. I can teach 5 vocabulary words this week, and next week I can teach 5 more, and the next week I could teach 5 more, and for the rest of my life I could be learning new words. And so this side is harder to build out, and it's also harder for us as teachers, right, to think about how do we integrate it so that it's not living in siloed spaces. So grammatical building blocks is the content we're building out right now. We're working with an expert. Her name is Nancy Eberhard, and she works with Margie Gillis, and they wrote Literacy How books on grammar and syntax and vocabulary and reading comprehension. So we're using their expertise to really put this language out here for us. And Sarah and I are learning it like all along the way too. And this is our first skill explainer on this side that we're building out. And we are liking in this example is you have all these letters, and these letters come together to make words. You taught your kids letter sound correspondence so that they can now build words. We can take the same idea, and we could teach our kids grammatical building blocks. We can have words that have jobs and sentences. If I have C, birds and cats, they go in a certain order, and the order matters. The order determines meaning. And so this is a nice way to understand that these grammatical building blocks, nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, prepositions, pronouns, conjunctions, and interjections, are all the building blocks that we need in order to slot them in to syntactic structures like subject, predicate, direct to object, phrases, in order to build sentences. So we are working on this. I want you to know that it is like coming every week. More content is coming. So all we have up right now is how to teach nouns, but our research-based approach to this is not, I'm going to teach my students nouns. It's that I'm going to teach my students, there are a group of words that answer who or what, and they are called nouns. Because if I link the question, who or what, which is the job of a noun, to the label of noun, noun, I now give my students a tool for making meaning within a sentence. And so if I look at a sentence, like if I look at the gardener plants, if I say, tell me the noun, that doesn't help me make meaning. If I say, who or what is this about? That helps me make meaning. And then I can read the next sentence, who or what is that about? That helps me make meaning. So, the grammatical building block approach that we're taking here is function first, label later. It's okay to teach noun as the label, but also teach the function. And then we just keep checking back because this is really exciting. And then in the resource hub, actually, we have these amazing question cards that we are so very proud of, I have to say. They're so cute and they're so usable. So as you're teaching your students, you can use these in phonics because you could have a word like the word lodge. It could be a who or a what, but lodge can also be a did what. And so you can think about that words can have more than one function. And then that means they can have more than one job in a sentence. They can serve as the subject or the predicate, as the noun or the verb. And then we're going to look at the resource hub, and that's where we have our videos. And they are we are ever building these videos, teaching grammatical building blocks in order to teach syntax to support comprehension. So that is all being built out now. And next, do you want to look at the sentence detective? Yeah, this is also new. We're really excited about this. This is a whole thought that the reciprocal relationship between reading comprehension and written composition are necessary. And so if we use these question words to help us, we can take a sentence, we can unpack the meaning of the sentence, like the woodpecker bores. We can say who or what, did what, when, where, how. We can ask all the questions the kids can unpack. And then we can do the reciprocal where we give a kernel sentence. And then we have kids answer the questions and build the sentence out. So this is like literally new. Last week we put this up. So we're working hard to really talk about comprehension and writing in support of each other, and not in siloed spaces. There's just not enough time in the day for that. And so that leads us to writing. We're working with Keys to Literacy to develop out our writing content. And this is sentence expansion. This is one of my very favorite overviews. Works the same way. Here's your teacher knowledge rate. On the left-hand side, you have all your components that unfold. On the right-hand side, you're going to have your content. I love, love, love this graphic here. It just shows like, even as a kindergarten teacher, I can do this work via oral language, right? We could be studying frogs. I could give you a kernel sentence, and then I could ask you these questions, and orally we could build this content. And then as the grades go up, we can do this work more explicitly related to the content that we're studying in social studies and science. We have the writing rope, which is our instructional framework for writing that we use from Joan Sedita. We have Joan Sedita talking about the writing rope as you scroll down. And we have many, many resources. One of my very favorite videos is sentence combining. The sentence combining skill explainer hopefully will go up in the next 2 weeks. I was meeting with Keys to Literacy today, like hammering out details. Sarah and I were working on it. And so we're going to just show you like a little minute of this because I think we're to the end of our time.
So what we're going to do is we're going to try to put our conjunction knowledge to the test. We're going to try to choose a conjunction, a connector word that connects some simple sentences. But we really have to think about which one are we using? Are we combining two ideas that are similar and related? Are we showing that two ideas are different than each other?
Conjunctions help young writers connect ideas or combine sentences in a meaningful way. These third grade students in Heather Adams' class have already learned 4 essential conjunctions: and, but, or, and so. Now she's giving them a chance to practice choosing the right one. first as a class, then on their own.
We've been reading Matilda, and we're not quite finished yet, but we've gotten to know the main character, Matilda, and we know a lot about her.
You'll notice Miss Adams provides pre-written short sentences on a topic that her students are familiar with. This lets them focus on just the task at hand, picking the correct conjunction.
Here are two.
Okay, and I just want to point out that lovely voice, her name is Danielle. She does our voiceover, and we like to call her our whisper coach. We write that narration intentionally so that we're like giving the whispering of like the magic that we saw in the teaching, that we want to make sure that everyone gets to see the intentionality behind her decisions. And that we will find that in all the Reading Universe videos minus the quick looks. So we are going to come to a space where we're going to wrap up. Sarah, what are the last two things you want to share? I'm going to let you share.
Yes. So I wanted to share some other parts of our site. Like Carla mentioned, you can find in each of the skill explainers by skill all of these things, but we've started to make some collections because we've noticed teachers really like some certain things. So we have a decodable text collection. So if you're like, I just really need decodable text, you can come here and it's organized by skill for you there. We also have ones for all of our lesson plans, our assessments, and the flashcards are there as well. The other things I wanted to point out, and this is brand new this week, if you work in higher ed, we do have model syllabi that we just developed with Dr. Stephanie Stoller for a 4-course series, and it uses all of our content in it. So maybe you are an adjunct and you don't get to develop your own syllabi, but you're looking for little pieces that you can pull in. We would love for you to download, use pieces of this, and use it as a resource. So those are brand new. I also wanted to point out, we do have a course called Para Reading. This came from Deb Glazier's work, and it was a book she had written, and she gifted the content to us. And what we've done is created 2 of a 5-course series. You can see the courses that are coming. We have phoneme awareness done and phonics. These are great. It is completely free to take. So this is great for paraprofessionals. If you have volunteers, even like a high school tutor maybe who comes in and works with your students and you want them to understand some of these things. What's great about it is there's opportunities to practice in it. So it's really guided. It's best to do in a group with people together so they can practice some of these different things so that when they're pulling your small groups, they have the same knowledge or the same level of understanding of the different things that you might be doing. And we also have PLC toolkits. So if you are a coach, these are great resources that you can download. We have a facilitator guide. We also have the slideshow that you can download that has the questions. It has the facilitator notes in there for you, the videos embedded. It really is a PD done for you. And on that same note, I want to tell you, if you are delivering professional learning, you are welcome and encouraged to use our videos in your professional learning. We just ask that you credit us for it, but you don't need to ask to say, hey, can I use this video? Everything is free. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find, it's Are You Teaching? You can find all the videos there as well. It's also on our site. So we really, really encourage you to get to check them out. Oh, and the last thing, sorry, there's always one more thing. We do have these timely talks with experts. These are long form lectures. They're about an hour in length. We have 4 right now. Joan Sedita's just came out at the beginning of 2026. But we have Margaret Goldberg's, which is one of the most popular ones. And I think it's been viewed over 30,000 times on YouTube. And if you go to any of these, What we have is we've broken it up into chapters. So again, if you're delivering professional learning and you want to do little snippets of this, we've broken it up and told you what each content piece is. So I think that was everything that we wanted to share. So we will open it up for questions now. And I see some things in the chat. Let's see if
There are no questions in the chat. But that doesn't mean that there won't be some questions if folks want to come off of mute and ask a question. While we're waiting for that, I'm just going to point out, first of all, the name dropping. So the content is really linked to experts. All these partnerships really help make for high quality content. So I'm so grateful for that. The integration between content and across the rope is really great and so helpful. Does anyone else have a question? You guys,
Sarah or other Sarah.
Sarah, the other Sarah.
Two questions. I know that I didn't see any Spanish resources. I teach at a dual language school. Do you know if there's any, you're going to create a part that might do Spanish, or do you know of any amazing resources similar to what you guys are doing that offer it in Spanish?
Our sister site, Color in Colorado, has a lot. Do you ever use that one, Sarah?
I've done it before to get like the Reading Rockets parent letters.
Okay.
I've got them in Spanish, but I've never seen something explicit like you guys have for Spanish.
We are working on it, but I would love to share our email with you, and we could connect you with Lydia, who runs that site. And she would love to talk to you about what you need, and she may have it and can guide you there. And I like to say, I think that feedback is amazing, and we would like to make sure that we are reaching all students.
I'm the English only, the monolingual track at my school, but it's 1/3 monolingual and 2/3 Spanish. So I would love to be able to pass that on. And then my second question was, do you feel like this could be a good resource for parents? Because I did a whole slew of SST meetings today, and the parents were like, they don't know how to help at home. So it's like,
I think the para reading course would be very interesting for parents if they wanted to know more information. But the other thing is the practice sheets, like the read sheets. I think if as parents, it's hard to teach your kid at home. Like I mean, I feel like I don't want to put that on a parent. I've been in that space too. But if the parent with your lead can partner with the teacher, and the parent could be working a skill or two behind, and the work that they were doing for the read sheets or the decodables was just practice.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think that so we have the decodables, and we have a collection page for the decodables, so you can go to that collection page and just lift off. You don't have to go to each skill explainer. We also are making a collection page for the read sheets, which will make it much easier. The roll-in reads are also
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Game. And I think if you can gamify stuff when it's at home for homework, it just makes it a lot better. And the other thing I've seen people use is in the articulation, and we can drop the link in here, and the articulation skill explainer. There's the entire grid of all the sound letter correspondences. And I know a teacher that let her kids like go in and out of that and like listen to the sounds and see, and just to get exposure. So we don't have a lot of stuff made for that. That's not what we do, but those are the things I can think of off the top of my head that would be excellent, for parents. Sarah, Martin, can you think of anything else that I didn't say?
No, I think those are all great ideas. And I actually had told Carla, I think like a week or two ago, that I would really want to develop a training to do for parents that will eventually like go on our site, just to show them what the different things. So hopefully it might be a year from now that we get there, because we need to build out all the other things, but that's on my brain too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I put the articulation interactive in the chat for you. That could be a good resource.
Nice. Yeah, the roll and reads would be fun for parents to do, I think, and easy to connect with what's being taught in the classroom.
Oh, wait, we have one more thing. The game boards. We didn't show the game boards,
the
but
game boards.
Sarah's so good. She can find them really quick. She's like Edie Gonzalez on the computer. And she can find them. And so the game boards, you print them out. I used to use these I used to tutor many, many hours all the time. And I would have these game boards and the kids would get to pick the game board. And then you can just write the words from the read sheets on index cards and make playing cards, or we actually have them where you can print them out. And they make, they're really, really fun. So that would be a fun, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And if you just search game boards, you'll find them for all of the ones that we have. But if you're looking for a specific skill, I would go in through the skill explainer and look in the student activities for it.
Or you can just print the game boards and then you can just write your words on index cards.
Exactly. Yep.
And then you just have all the game boards, and then your kids can pick which game board they want that day.
Wonderful. That was great. All right. While you guys